Live. Now you're.
All right. Well, good evening. Thanks to everyone who's here with us tonight. I'm Nora Lopez. I'm NAHJ president, and I'm actually also this year's election chair. Tonight, you'll be hearing from me, from our new executive director, David Peña, and regional directors, Melissa Macaya and David Cordero. If you're here or if you're viewing this video at a later date, that means you're interested in possibly giving back to our community by joining the NAHJ board. So tonight we'll tell you about the basic requirements to run, some key deadlines, and a brief overview of the open positions and the board's role at NAHJ. So to kick things off, we'll hear from Executive Director David Peña, who will give us a brief overview of the elections and process and share his thoughts as the ED on the board's role. David?
Thank you, Nora, and welcome everybody to today's call. Look forward to meeting all of y'all in Las Vegas. So if you're part of this election or just attending Las Vegas, and if you haven't registered, register, because deadlines are coming up pretty fast. Keep in mind some of the election timeline deadlines. We have just some key top level. Saturday, July 2nd is the deadline to qualify for the ballot. Then July 5th through the July 22nd is a campaign period. And then obviously the elections end on Saturday at the convention. You must be a member in good standing, have 25 signatures from members in good standing, submit a current resume, contact information for 2 professional references, and for student represented candidates, they must submit 2 academic references and the contact information for a current employer. I wanted also, as executive director, just to share a little bit about the organization, our expectations of our board members and engagement. To begin with, we're a 501c3, so we're an educational and charitable nonprofit. We're not a trade association or political action committee, which is a C4 or C6. As an educational and nonprofit, we're limited in our engagement on policy. We do offer training, and we'll be offering some training as it may be update training for you as a new board member should you be elected, on your fiduciary duty, fiscal responsibilities, and Robert's Rules of Orders. From a staff perspective, we engage with board members as needed. We understand that you are working journalists and have a very busy schedule. However, I do want to reiterate that engagement with the executive committee officers is a little heavier than our regular board members. So we will be calling upon you a little more on decisions with the executive committee, but keeping the full board informed. We do not have a financial requirement as a board member, so you're not required to make a donation to the organization, though we would welcome any donations to our scholarship program. Throughout the next couple of days and weeks, we're happy to answer as staff any questions that you might have. I'd like to just say good luck, and win or lose, we hope you stay engaged and be part of our committees that we have if you don't get elected to the board, but wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, David. Now let me tell you about the positions that are up for election. The board consists of 18 members. However, the elections are staggered. So last year we voted for the regional directors, and this year we will be voting for 10 positions. They are president, financial officer, secretary, vice president for print, vice president for broadcast, vice president for digital, Spanish language at large officer, academic at large officer, general at large officer, and student representative. Okay, those are a mouthful. So let me tell you just very briefly the overview of what those positions entail. The president in general supervises, directs, and controls the business and the officers of our board. He or she will preside over all the meetings and sets the agenda. We have 3 VPs for print, broadcast, and online. In the absence or disability of the president, the vice presidents shall step in and perform the duties of the president And the vice president who receives the most votes is the one who's first in line to succeed the president should he or she not be able to complete their term. But other than that, you are expected to, be the liaison, the eyes and ears to the board of the industry or the media that you are representing, digital, print, broadcast. We expect you to, be on top of issues or current concerns that are of interest to your particular field, and to help set the agenda to address those types of concerns within NAHJ. And of course, you must work in the media that you want to represent. The financial officer is basically our treasurer. He or she will keep and maintain our accounts, including assets and liabilities. And he or she will work really closely with the executive director to help set the budget for our group. The secretary, traditional duties, maintains the minutes at all of our meetings, excuse me. So this is a time-intensive position. You are required to be at these meetings in order to take notes. That said, we know we're all full-time journalists. We're volunteering our time, so we make accommodations as needed if work or personal issues come up. The Spanish language at-large officer is the liaison between the Spanish language media outlets or those who write or communicate primarily in Spanish. And pretty much the rest of the offices are structured the same way. The at-large officer is the board's liaison, the academic at-large officer is the board's liaison for academic members who teach at institutions of higher education. The at-large officer is the NAHJ's membership liaison to the board. And the student representative is the board liaison for NAHJ student members. And again, in general, with all these positions, the expectation is that you will keep the board abreast of any concerns or activities related to the media posts for which you are running. These are 2-year terms, with the exception of the student representative who serves a 1-year term. And the president may only serve 1 2-year term. All others positions folks are able to run for re-election. So the basic requirements are that you must be a member in good standing, your dues paid, and that you meet the criteria for the position that you are running. And really the most important thing that you need to run for NAHJ is to have commitment to the cause and to do the behind the scenes nitty-gritty work that is required to push NAHJ adelante. So you must demonstrate a commitment to NAHJ through regular involvement in the organization. And that means serving as an active member of a committee or a task force or other initiative that NAHJ may take on. You must attend the NAHJ conference. You must be able to participate in conference calls. Attend 3 board meetings, either virtual or in person. That will be up to the next board president to decide how those meetings will take place. One thing we learned from the pandemic over the last few years is that virtual is pretty good. It actually allows, I think, for more member participation, and it's more cost effective because we don't have to travel. That said, there is a benefit to being together in person. So there will likely be maybe an in-person retreat, which preferably we hope that your news organization can pay for that. Other things that we might ask you to do include leading or participating in our task forces, various initiatives. This includes fundraising, membership, and chapter development and outreach. And really the most important function is our chairing or serving on our standing and ad hoc committees or task forces. That's really where a lot of the board's work gets done, in those committees. So as board members, you should honestly try to volunteer to be in 2 or 3 of these committees. We've had several standing committees, but the president can choose to add more or create less depending on his or her priorities. For the last 2 years, our committees have been the executive committee, that's comprised of the president, the 3 VPs, the secretary, and the finance officer. And as David noted earlier, this particular committee does meet way more frequently than the rest of the board. I'd say the executive committee meets maybe once every 4 to 6 weeks to meet with the ED to help guide decisions and make adjustments as needed to our projects and our budget. So much of the organization's business is handled by the executive committee and the ED. So those of you who are running for either president, one of the 3 VPs,
Everybody loves the dream.
you would be a part of the executive committee. We also have a Hall of Fame committee, a committee that helps oversee the convention and program planning. Our rapid response team, which handles all of our official statements and positions. This is another very active group, the rapid response team. We communicate through Slack mostly, and some days it's fast and furious, and we're talking about, do we want to take up this issue or not? Everything is done by committee. We edit whatever statements are going to be put out on behalf of the NAHJ. We edit it as a team. There's much discussion back and forth on Slack on the positions that we're going to take, the pros and cons, and it's very much a collaborative effort. And it comes in spurts. Sometimes we'll go for a couple of weeks where we're just taking up one thing after another. And then sometimes we'll go through, a few quiet periods where we're only informationally letting each other know about things that are happening in the industry. It's a really important committee, and I'm really proud of the work that our rapid response team has done over the last 2 years, because this is the voice of NAHJ. This board has also created some task forces that we believed devoted to specific causes that we believe deserve some special attention, like the Investigative Journalist Task Force, the Sports Task Force, and the Afro-Latino Task Force. But I think one of our most important committees that we created, that we've worked on for the last year and a half, has been the Strategic Planning Committee. It's another one of those committees that I'm very, very proud of, because it sets a path forward for NAHJ for the next 5 years. It helps to set our priorities and how are we going to accomplish them. So if you're going to run and you're going to be on this board, you are poised to really elevate NAHJ to that next level thanks to this plan. We've done a lot of work on it. It's going to serve you as a good guideline so that you're going to really take us there. We're going to help improve fundraising, and we're going to help address the concerns and the issues that our members want us to address. So I'd like to ask Melissa Makaya, who's our Region 3 Director representing Delaware, Kentucky, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and West Virginia. She served on the Strategic Planning Committee, and I'd like her to share her experience with us.
Yeah, hi everyone, and hello to our members that are connecting now and that will be watching on demand later. So as Noda said, I currently serve as Region 3 Director, and I decided to join the National Board after serving for 4 years on the DC chapter as DC chapter president. And I really wanted to get the opportunity to serve the organization and our members on the national level and aim to be a voice for our chapters. And then when I joined the board, I really loved that there were committees that I could, with a smaller group of other board members, tackle really important issues that I was passionate about. And one of those was the Strategic Planning Committee, where, as Noda mentioned, for over a year now, we've been trying to craft our strategic plan, and we're very close to having it ready to go. And we really felt that it was time to create a roadmap and a plan that we as an organization could have to help take us to the next level and help execute the goals that we have for our organization. And we've also had incorporated the input of our members along the way. I've had a great time in this committee. It's been a lot of work, but it's also been a lot of fun. We've met, depending on the timeline and where we are in the process, we've sometimes met once a month, sometimes more than that, sometimes less than that. But it's just been a really great opportunity to get to meet other Latina journalists that are in the committee that are just so talented and so passionate about NHJ and what NHJ can be and how it can grow and continue to have impact. I really encourage you all that are watching this video, maybe you want to run for the board, join a committee, but if you're not ready yet to possibly join a board, the board, maybe you're not sure about the commitment, committees are such a great opportunity to still get involved. We encourage membership participation. We actively are asking members to join our meetings, that give us input. So I really do encourage you to join a committee, even pitch a committee idea. Maybe there's an issue or a focus area that you are passionate about. And that's a little bit of the committee. Like I said, we meet once a month, depending, sometimes more, sometimes less. And it's a really great opportunity on in a smaller group, in a more focused way, to tackle something that we are passionate about with regards to NAHJ.
Thank you, Melissa. So not going to sugarcoat it for you guys. Yes, if you choose to do this, there is work involved. You will have to give up a few hours a week or a couple of hours on a weekend to attend the committee meetings or the board meetings. We do try really hard to be respectful of each other's times. So for example, the strategic planning committee, we try to keep those meetings as often as possible to just 1 hour. But again, depending on where we were with the timeline and the workflow of it, sometimes we met a little bit more often for a little longer. But it's really rewarding, and I really think that we're on a good path to do some good things. This next incoming board is going to be able to do some fantastic things. I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear next from David Cordero. David is our Region 1 Director. He represents Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the Virgin Islands. David just joined the board this past year, and although David didn't run for the post, he was appointed to it, he still had to volunteer to be appointed. So tell me, David, why did you decide to raise your hand and get involved with NAHJ, and what has your experience been like?
Definitivo. Bueno, yo voy a estar hablándoles en español. Primero que nada, pues saludos Nora y saludos a todos los que están presentes. Estoy muy feliz de estar aquí con ustedes y de que ustedes estén presentes en este foro, quienes están en vivo y quienes nos verán eventualmente en la grabación. En primer lugar, quisiera compartirles que lo que me motivó en principio a formar parte de la Junta Nacional de la NAHJ es el deseo de ampliar y fortalecer el sentido de comunidad como periodistas latinos e hispanos en Estados Unidos y desde Puerto Rico. Los tiempos definitivamente son cíclicos, cada periodo tiene sus retos, pero todos conocemos los retos que enfrenta la comunidad latina en este momento en Estados Unidos, y los periodistas somos parte de esa comunidad latina, pero además tenemos una gran responsabilidad en nuestro rol como periodistas y comunicadores. Así que por eso, más que nunca, pienso que es necesario que nosotros como periodistas busquemos mantenernos unidos como comunidad y fortalecerla para asegurar y ampliar los espacios de los periodistas hispanos en los medios de comunicación en Estados Unidos, que dentro de los medios haya un trato justo y adecuado para todos los colegas, pero que además aseguremos que haya coberturas dignas y justas para la comunidad latina en Estados Unidos, que se escuchen sus voces, que se cubran sus reclamos, sus situaciones. Así que desde el rol que asumimos dentro de la Junta en las distintas regiones, tenemos también ciertamente una gran responsabilidad de velar porque eso ocurra y de que busquemos avanzar en esa dirección. Así que con todo eso en mente, acepté formar parte de la Junta Nacional como director de la Región 1, y además identifiqué que en Puerto Rico necesitábamos un capítulo profesional de la NAHJ que existió en algún momento hace mucho tiempo en el pasado, había dejado de existir, así que el año pasado retomamos acciones. No fue un esfuerzo solo mío, requirió el apoyo de colegas de aquí de Puerto Rico, un grupo de 10 colegas periodistas que formaron parte de esa petición inicial que le planteamos a la Junta Nacional de la NAHJ para establecer el capítulo profesional aquí en la isla. Ese capítulo finalmente se formó o se inauguró a principios de octubre del pasado año 2021. Además de ese capítulo, hay varios capítulos estudiantiles aquí en Puerto Rico y ese trabajo que hacen también los capítulos estudiantiles es muy importante, pero además es importante que desde el capítulo profesional y como directores regionales mantengamos esa comunicación con los estudiantes y que eventualmente formen parte también de la Junta a nivel de la organización a nivel profesional una vez se gradúan de la universidad y comiencen a ejercer como profesionales. Además, pienso que todavía hay mucho trabajo que hacer y por eso me alegra que quienes estén aquí presentes participando en este foro y que quieran unirse, ¿verdad? A este trabajo voluntario, pero muy hermoso y satisfactorio, porque así como el año pasado logramos abrir un nuevo capítulo en Puerto Rico, hay otras áreas en las que definitivamente podemos continuar ampliando la presencia de la NAHJ, abriendo también nuevos capítulos, invitando a colegas y comunicadores a formar parte de la organización, compartiendo nuestro mensaje, cuáles son nuestros objetivos, nuestras metas, nuestra misión y sobre todo fomentar ese sentido de comunidad como periodistas y comunicadores hispanos y latinos. Así que les extiendo la invitación y me alegra mucho que también estén dando el paso, ¿no? de querer formar parte de la Junta Nacional y cada cual desde sus respectivas áreas aportar con ese granito de arena tan necesario para seguir creciendo como comunidad.
Gracias, David. Thank you so much. The work that you've done in Puerto Rico has been so wonderful, especially after we went for so long without a regional director there. You came in like gangbusters, and we're very excited for everything that you've accomplished in your short year. So we will open it up for questions from you. The folks who are interested and who might have some questions about where you are in the process. I recognize a few names, so I know a few of you already have received some of the nominations. By Friday, I'll be sending out an email letting you know where you are in the quest for your required 25 nominations. You have until next Saturday, July 2nd, to gather those nominations. So if there's any questions, I guess you can put them in chat, or perhaps we can unmute you, BA. What's your preference?
If we can put them in chat, that would be great. I'll pass them to you.
Okidoki. Preguntas.
Yvette asks, any restrictions on campaigning period?
The only restriction really is that we don't want candidates emailing our members directly. In this day and age, there's just so much concern about spamming that we have decided that we're going to ask you guys to submit to us. I think the first one is like a 250, campaign statement. And then right before the campaign period ends, submit another one of 350 that we'll be sending out. Those are really the only, it's really the only thing. Other than that, you're free to use social media. You know, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of those social media platforms are fair game.
William has his hand up, Nora.
Oh, campaign hashtag. Yes. BA, our marketing communications person.
We use Latino news leaders hashtag in association with the election. And William has his hand up, Nora.
Yes, William.
Okay, hello everyone. Hello everybody there. My name is William J. Diaz. I have 33 years. I'm originally from Venezuela, got 33 years living in Central Florida. Out of those, I have 32 as a journalist. I've been on press, I've been on radio, I've been on TV, and I've been on social media also. Got a couple questions. Number one, I would like to find out what the status, the current status is about the chapter in Central Florida, because I only heard about the chapter when elections approach. I'm so glad I get the opportunity to talk to somebody today and my voice can be heard. In the past, I've been talking when you were running, Nora. I got a long conversation with Julio Chavez. He might recall my name. I'm very involved in Central Florida media, and actually Venezuelan Journalist Day, el Día de los Periodistas en Venezuela, es el próximo día lunes, and we're going to have a large meeting here. Now, I'm sorry, but I never find out why I've been so blocked to be with some freedom or rights within the organization. It's too sad to say this. When I first get the last email previous to the ones today for this meeting to renew my membership, I tried to do it and I got blocked. And I'm a chapter founder at the time with Yvette Rousseau and some other group of journalists. 15, 16 years ago, we created Central Florida chapter. By the way, was the first chapter created in the organization.
Senor Diaz, I'm sorry. I'm not as versed as I should be on the Central Florida chapter, so I'll need to do a little bit of homework to get back to you on this issue and reach out to staff so they can help explain to me a little bit more about the situation and what's going on down.
Right. If you can send me an email or a phone that I can contact you separate, because I understand and I got respect for the agenda that was created for today's meeting. But I mean, I'm trying to help, I'm trying to participate, I'm trying to help the organization that I helped to create, and I don't know why I get blocked.
Okay, I'll try to get an answer for you. If you want to reach out to me directly, I will put my email here in chat, and I will help you get to the bottom of things. So, ahí está. Muchas gracias. Appreciate it.
Siempre.
No, Yvette, I believe the date is already passed. The date of record. Can you put it back up? Let's see.
Yeah,
June 7th was the date of record. So you have to be a member in good standing by June 7th in order to run for office or to be able to vote. Okay. We will have a virtual candidate forum. I'm waiting until the nominees are set so that we can try to schedule it. I'm aiming for the third week of July. But waiting so that we can see what day it's going to work for, you know, hopefully all of the candidates or most of the candidates. But please be aware that that third week of July, we do want to hold some kind of a virtual candidate forum where you can make a little 2-3 minute campaign statement. Any other questions, comments?
Nora, I'm adding my email on chat so that if anybody has any questions, they can email me directly.
Oh, I thought I had put it, I'm sorry, it looks like I put my email to, I didn't send it to all. Perdón. Okay. Well, there you go. If there are no questions, then we'll adjourn this meeting. Happy to see such great interest. And you'll be hearing from me soon by the end of the week with an update on where you stand with your nominations.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.